We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements.
डॉक्टर साहब आवाज आ रही है मेरी? डॉक्टर साहब
मैं ये दिख रहा हूँ। डिस्प्ले क्या हो रहा है?
Support. Recognize member achievements. Host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud to introduce the International Indian Professionals Association, IIPA, a platform dedicated to connecting and empowering Indian professionals overseas. Our mission IIPA aims to harness the diverse talents of Indian professionals by facilitating knowledge sharing, promoting professional development, encouraging cultural exchange, fostering social service, upholding unity in diversity. Achievements. Since inception, IIPA has organized workshops and skills-building sessions, job orientation programs, and SME meets online webinars on various topics. Upcoming initiatives. We plan to offer career counseling and mental health support, recognize member achievements, host parenting and health programs. Join us. We invite Indian professionals abroad to join IIPA. Together, let's grow, support each other, and make a positive impact. We are proud
Hello, good afternoon and good evening and assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Shafiq, host for the day, and I thank you for joining today's webinar. And on behalf of International Indian Professional Association, I welcome you all for this highly anticipated webinar for the working professionals overseas. The topic of today's webinar is fostering psychological resilience and spiritual well-being in the professional sphere. In today's fast-paced, high-pressure world, achieving a sense of balance between the personal, professional, and spiritual dimensions of life can feel daunting. This topic focuses on cultivating inner strength, emotional stability, and spiritual fulfillment that extend beyond workplace boundaries, enriching all aspects of life. We are honored to have Sister Zulekha S R as our esteemed speaker today. A distinguished counseling and spiritual psychologist at the Mind and Brain Hospital in Bangalore. She also serves as a co-head of the Islamic Psychology Department, focusing on research, training, and psychoeducation. With her vast expertise in Islamic psychology, tazkiyah therapy, and holistic mental health, Zulekha is renowned for her passion for mental health advocacy and community development. In this session, she will guide us in exploring the profound connection between psychological resilience and spiritual well-being, providing actionable insights to create balance in both personal and professional realms. We look forward to an enriching and transformative experience with Sister Zulekha's wisdom leading the way. Sister Zulekha, are you there? I hope she has connected. Let me check.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope I'm audible.
Okay, I'll make you co-host.
Sure.
Okay. Sister Zulekha, on behalf of International Indian Professional Association, I welcome you to this webinar as a guest speaker, and the stage is all yours. Thank you.
So I welcome you all with the Islamic greeting, as we say Assalamu alaikum, which means that we are hoping that all of us, or there is peace on each of you who is here. Okay, so quickly in the chat box, if you can let me know which languages you're comfortable with. I know it's going to be English primarily, but I hope all of us get English here and all of us are able to, like if English is the preferred language of the lecture, or I could switch between maybe English and any other languages that is preferred, if I may know. So if I can quickly get things on the chat box. It's also going to be a good way of knowing how many speakers here are bilingual or prefer any other language.
Yeah, they are responding. You can check the chat box.
Yeah. English would be fine. All right. Okay, so in that case, I'll quickly just present PPT. I also would need access onto my other name. The PPT will be going from that.
Can you mention the name?
That also says Zulekha Rajani. So there are two Zulekha Rajani's, if you could give access to both, yeah.
Okay. Here you go. Can you check now?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it, yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. It's visible, right? Great. Let's make it full screen. All right. So as we know, today's topic is fostering emotional resilience and spiritual well-being in professional sphere, right? So I quickly want you all to take your notepads or, your if you have a book and a paper and a pen to scribble it as to what are some of the most important aspects of your lives. What are some of the most important aspects of your life? So if you want, I could quickly take you through different aspects. What are some of the different aspects that we do have? And towards the end, I'll also be giving you that entire sheet that can help you all towards, marking your own aspects or different value directions that we can call it. Yeah. So let's start with one of the first aspect being work. Okay, we can call different dimensions or different things or different hats that we have to wear perhaps. So first could be work. So you could just note down, and it's also going to be helping you all stay more active. Yeah. So you can start with writing work being one of the aspects. You can write family of origin being another aspect. Please write your parenting skills. That's another aspect.
Zulekha, if you can just mention in your whatever Hindi or Urdu you know of, so that everybody is in the same platform.
Okay. Urdu as well. हाँ, ठीक है.
Yeah.
The first being work या काम, career could be the first aspect. Second could be your family of origin. मतलब family of origin के अंदर who all will come? आपके अम्मी अब्बा, आपके भाई बहन, your mom, your father and mother, your siblings will come under your family of origin. So we are separating parenting, your spouse, that is intimate relationship, and your family of origin. So that's why family of origin is only going to have your parents and siblings. Okay. Third being parenting, या if आप अम्मी या अब्बा हैं, अगर आप के रोल्स हैं कि आपके बच्चे हैं और आप parental duties कर रहे हैं, right? Alhamdulillah, if you are not yet married, then inshallah that's something to come. Or if you're newly married, then there's something to come. But if you are already a mother or a father, then fourth, you can write your intimate relationships. मैरिज मतलब ओनली योर स्पाउस, यहाँ पे और कोई नहीं आएगा, ना इन लॉज आएंगे, ना आपके दूसरे रिश्तेदार जो शादी से जुड़े हुए होते हैं. इट्स ओनली गोइंग टू बी योर इंटीमेट रिलेशनशिप्स दैट्स गोइंग टू बी कमिंग अबाउट. ऑलराइट. आपकी जो शादीशुदा ज़ौजाती जिंदगी है, दैट जस्ट योर हस्बैंड, आपके शोहर या आपकी बीवी. Then we have fifth being education. आपका personal growth, learning. कुछ भी सीखना, whatever you're learning, it's fine. जैसे कि some people are कुरान से जुड़े हुए हैं, right? They are related, they are, तालिबुल इल्म, they are the students of ilm. या कोई भी capacity में अगर कुछ growth है, even if you're going to any culinary classes, कुछ भी, in any form, if there is growth, अगर आप बढ़ रहे हो कोई भी capacity में, ठीक है, that's going to be your fifth. Education is your learning. अगर आप student है तो of course आपका जो course work है, that's what we're talking about. If you are a professional, then again, because no field is stagnated, it's growing, the expertise in niche is growing, तो वहाँ पे भी आपको अपने आप को updated करने के लिए जो courses या जो skills जरूरत होती है, upskilling जो होती है, so that way also are you upskilling yourself or growth in any capacity. So here we're going to be taking any kind of a growth, inshallah. Personal growth. Then we have friends and social life. आपकी social जिंदगी, आपकी वो part of life जहाँ पे आप friends लोगों से, आपके जो circles होते हैं, social circles. So that's what we're talking about here. फिर हम health and physical self-care. Health or physical self-care. तो यहाँ पर आपकी individual health आती है. Okay, about your mental health, about your physical health. जी, yes.
अजमत पे म्यूट कर दीजिए.
Right.
Please go ahead.
Sure. Health. So here, when we're talking about health, हम लोग का health का जो concept है, the concept that we have of health is very limited. So we need to broaden the understanding of health, which is going to be holistic health. तो आपकी mental health, physical health, psychological health, emotional health, तमाम चीजें health के अंदर आ जाएंगी. Self care, ठीक है? And eventually we'll discuss the concept of self-care. Western paradigm में कैसा है and how do we see it from a spiritual paradigm or like more from Islamic paradigm. We'll be looking into that. Next is going to be spirituality. You're being religious. So this value directions is coming from existential logotherapy, right? So that's why you will see the word spirituality is used instead of religiosity. Once I send you the sheet, inshallah, upload, and I'll also display it so that we understand this better. Spirituality is going to be another tangent. Then comes community life. आपकी तहरीकी जिंदगी, आपकी जिंदगी जहाँ पे आप बियॉन्ड योर सेल्फ, बियॉन्ड आपके फैमिली, आप कुछ लोगों के लिए कर रहे हो, आप कोई कैपेसिटी में यू आर एंगेज विद पीपल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस फोरम, राइट? दिस फोरम के जो ऑर्गेनाइजर्स हैं, दिस फोरम के जो जिन्होंने एनविजन किया था ये फोरम को, राइट? This can be counted as a tehriki life. This is a contribution which is beyond themselves, their families, their care, right? Of course, when you are sitting in the shop of, like if you're sitting in a perfume shop, whether you want it or not, you're going to be benefiting from it, right? If you're sitting under the sky and it's raining, तो चाहे आप cattle पे भी बारिश पड़ रही है, घास पे भी पड़ रही है, आप पे भी पड़ रही है. So when you are part of these circles, you also benefit. But the envisioning of bringing more people into this is for the community benefit, right? For people to benefit out of this. So that way, this is going to be your tehriki work or your any work that brings you further or brings you towards beyond yourself. And the last but not the least is going to be your recreation and leisure.
Sister Zulekha, are you moving the slides or is it the same slide?
No, it's the same slide.
Okay, right.
I was just dictating, so. Or
Okay.
actually, I can just display this as well.
No, actually, there was a question in the chat box, so I thought maybe.
Okay. Maybe I can just display this once quickly so that it's easier for the ones who have not noted or would want visual, you know. Yeah, so now what I want you to do is while I'm going to be displaying this, I want you to mark top 5, okay, priority wise for you. Not where you want to be. For example, self-care बहुत important है लेकिन मैं कर नहीं पा रही हूँ. Not that. No. Just top 5 most important things or where your work is going or where you are really priority wise, it means a lot to you. So ये 10 categories में से mark the top 5 in priority. For example, some लोगों के लिए work बहुत important, so they put work first. And then they put, you know, intimate part relationship, that is your husband or wife, and then they put parenting. थोड़ों को parenting comes first, then comes family of origin, फिर comes spouse, right? So आपकी, so just mark it in an order that is, I mean, that's something that can help you understand where your priorities are. So I'm just opening this as well meanwhile.
Sister Zulekha, how about
Yeah.
just introducing the terms like resilience and like mental well-being, so that they know what we are talking about and how to relate with the problems.
Yeah, that inshallah will be following. Yes, that's going to be as soon as we finish this activity. I thought we'll start with an activity, so we'll start with this, and then I will connect how it's related to emotional resilience and spiritual well-being. Okay, maybe I'll just display this so it gets easier for everybody to. Yeah. So we need to be marking the top 5. I will still able to see my screen? No, right?
It's not visible.
It's not visible. Okay.
If you're facing an issue, you can send the file. I'll open it here.
To you, yes. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. One moment. Meanwhile, I want everybody to inshallah mark their top 5. Yes.
Can I help you? Yes.
No, I'm almost there. 1 minute. Okay, I think it's visible, right? So this is what we talk about, and I'll be sending this. Okay, I mean those top 5. Yeah, so this is what we were talking about. पहले value direction sheet में हम समझते work and career है. Then we understand that there is intimate relationship, that is couple, marriage, right? You mark, I mean, you see where you put this in 10. अगर हम लोग को order में देना है, then you see where you put this. Parenting, educational learning, personal growth, friends and social life, health and physical self-care, family of origin, spirituality, and community life, tehriki, like we said, life, and then comes your recreation and leisure. Okay, so now I hope you all have put your priorities. Have you put the top 5? As in, what is the most important? Let's make it simple. What is the most important thing? ये 10 में से आपके 5 टॉप क्या है? अगर आप अपने फैमिली ऑफ ओरिजिन पेरेंट्स को पहले डालते हैं, देन पुट नंबर 1 अराउंड इट. अगर उसके बाद आप वर्क को डालते हैं तो 2 डालिए उसकी बाजू. अगर आप उसके बाद पेरेंटिंग को डालते हैं 3, फिर यू पुट सेल्फ केयर 4, फिर स्पाउस अगर 5th पे आते हैं. सो वेयर एवर यू फील, राइट दिस. ठीक है, you don't have to discuss the answers or anything, and we'll come back to this after we're done with the presentation. Okay? Have you all understood the instructions? Have you all marked it?
For the sake of those,
Yeah.
for the sake of
Yeah.
those who have joined late, can you just highlight the headings under which they have to enter the comments? I mean, the sheet we just displayed. Can you
Yeah.
just mention the headlines in that?
Headlines in that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the ones who have joined now, we just did an activity. Jahan pe we wrote down the 10 areas. Okay, value directions bolte hain ise. So we write down the 10 areas. First, standing for work. Second, standing for intimate relationships, that is your marriage, your husband or your wife. Third is parenting, if you're a parent. Fourth is education, learning, personal growth. Then 5th comes your friends and social life. So a lot of people put this first.
Are they aware that there is a grading like from 0 to 2 and satisfaction wise from 0 to 2? I mean, something like this. Was this made clear to them?
So there are 4 components to this sheet. One is the intention, one is the importance and satisfaction, and the other is priority marking. So because it may take a lot of time, we're just going to be doing priority marking. And importance and satisfaction, they can do it once I send the sheet to them. They can do it by themselves.
Okay.
So we won't be marking importance and satisfaction because it's another tangent to the sheet or to the entire idea of value directions. Right now, we're only doing one aspect, which is going to be marking the priorities, which is another aspect of what we make clients do in terms of understanding their makasids or their higher calling and their priorities in life. So you don't need to get confused with the importance, satisfaction, and intention. You just need to see the headers for now. Okay. Yeah. So the fifth header is going to be friends and social life. Sixth is your health, physical self care. But you can definitely add your mental health and all of those components here. Seventh is going to be your family of origin. That is family relationships other than marriage or parenting, which is your, say, your mom and dad, your भाई बहन, ठीक है, या अगर other significant relationships हैं जैसे grandparents, all of that will come under family of origin. Then you have okay, yeah, spirituality. And the ones who join late, हम बोल रहे थे कि कैसे spirituality, because your value directions is coming from logotherapy. वो लोग religiosity as a word या religion use नहीं करते हैं, they use the word spirituality, right? But for us, we know if we are religiously adhering and aligning to one religion, then it's going to be where do we place Islam in our lives. So spirituality is another tangent. Ninth is going to be community life, environment, and nature. It's going to be your tehriki zindagi, your life, which is beyond yourself, beyond your family, right? How are you trying to make this world a better place? Or how are you trying to, आप कैसे कम्युनिटी वर्क कर रहे हैं, जैसे हम लोग नॉर्मल टर्म्स में सोशल सर्विस बोलते हैं, राइट? सो एनीथिंग व्हिच इज बियॉन्ड योरसेल्फ एंड योर फैमिली. And the last is recreation and leisure.
The community, you mean neighbors and from people from the same
Yes.
city and country, irrespective of the caste and creed.
Yes, correct. Okay. So now that you've understood these 10 areas, step 2 is you have to mark the top 5. So जो आप 10 ऑर्डर में लिखे होगे, तो उसके बाद जो आपको नंबरिंग देना है कि मेरे जिंदगी में सबसे अहम चीज कौन सी है, व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट फॉर मी. Is it parenting? Is it family of origin? Is it spirituality? Is it work? And हम उसको एक ऑर्डर दे रहे हैं, ठीक है? वी गिविंग दैट एन ऑर्डर प्रायोरिटीज में, ठीक है? Once you are done, please type Y in the chat box so I know that you all are completing this and are getting done with this. Yes, okay. Yes. Y or yes, either. Okay. I'll be sending it to Brother Shafiq, and inshallah he will be sending it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Because somebody asked, where can I get this sheet? And I'll also tell you towards the end as to what you all could be doing more than that, more than just marking this, yeah? Okay. How many of us are done? Just type yes if you are done marking your priorities. Okay, I think some of us are still doing. Okay, bye. Okay.
Just a request for the attendees here. If you are not able to understand what we are doing or what Sister Zulekha is trying to explain, you can raise your hand or put a question in the
Yes.
chat box, because we want you to get the maximum benefit out of this webinar.
Definitely, yes. Definitely. Any doubts? Please make this interactive. आप पूछ सकते हैं. Unmute करके भी you can ask, you can raise your hands, your chat box में भी. ठीक है? All right. So inshallah we can come back to this towards the end. I hope hope many are able to complete that.
Meantime, if you have any question or something, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yes. Any questions or doubts related to what we just did now? No doubts? Okay.
Your slides are ready for display?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So usually when we talk about something, जब हम किसी टॉपिक के बारे में बात कर रहे होते हैं तो हम देखते हैं कि क्या चीजें हैं, मतलब क्या चीजें जनरली पीपल नो, एक जायजा लिया जाता है कि व्हाट आर सम ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट लोगों को पहले से पता है, जो एंड जो जनरली भी हम आर्टिकल्स में या वीडियोस में या हम जो वी ऑलरेडी नो, राइट? तो इसीलिए हमेशा कोशिश होती है कि वी गिव समथिंग व्हिच इज लिटिल बिट मोर नुआंस, जैसे ये वर्कशीट। अब ये वर्कशीट सिर्फ थेरेपी में यूज होती है, क्लिनिकल सेटअप्स में यूज होते हैं, तो ये शीट्स यूजुअली बाहर तक नहीं जाती हैं। सो दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाई वी ट्राई टू मेक दी सेशंस थोड़ा और नुआंस बोल सकते हैं, या अब थोड़ा और डिटेल्ड, ताकि पीपल कैन बेनिफिट फ्रॉम व्हाट दे डोंट नो। तो इसीलिए ये जो एंटायर टॉपिक है, फॉस्टरिंग इमोशनल रेसिलियंस एंड स्पिरिचुअल वेलबीइंग, इसके लिए हम वी ट्राई टू ब्रिंग अबाउट अ पर्सपेक्टिव या कुछ टिप्स, नॉट इतना ओवरवेल्म भी नहीं करना है या लेकिन इतना जेनेरिक भी नहीं रखना है, राइट? तो पहले इन ऑर्डर टू फॉर्म द लेजिटिमेसी ऑफ द फील्ड, हम समझेंगे कि स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड रिलीजन कितना हम कितना इसका रेलेवेंस है राइट नाउ। अगर हम बोल रहे हैं कि हम लोग यूज कर रहे हैं स्पिरिचुअलिटी को या रिलीजन को थेरेपी में, या अगर हम लोगों की मदद करने के लिए वो यूज कर रहे हैं, तो एवरीबॉडी इज लाइक इसका मतलब हाउ इज दिस साइंटिफिक, राइट? सो फर्स्ट वी हैव टू एस्टैब्लिश द पोजीशन एंड देन वी गो टुवर्ड्स इट। So if you see, psychology of religion spirituality has evolved significantly, mental health mein especially, particularly as clinicians, right, around the world, आप देखोगे कि profound impact है spiritual beliefs and emotional well-being का on लोगों की complete जिंदगी, holistic जिंदगी पे। And this field has definitely struggled for legitimacy, क्योंकि इस फील्ड को देखा गया है कि रिलीजन बहुत अलग है स्पिरिचुअल, लाइक मेंटल हेल्थ से। रिलीजन का कोई लेना देना नहीं है इन वेल बीइंग, लेकिन आज टुडे इट इज सेलिब्रेटेड एज वन ऑफ द मेजर फोर्सेस शेपिंग मॉडर्न थेरेप्यूटिक प्रैक्टिसेस। Second point है, the need to address spirituality in clinical setting is pressing and not just important, but we feel it is very very important right now, क्योंकि बहुत सारे clients regardless of the spiritual religious affiliation want therapists या want clinicians जो religiously inclined हो, informed हो। अब जैसे when you go for any doctor, right, and you see that the doctor is following a good, say the ambience is good, or the way the way he's talking, or the way he is has like good understanding, he's explaining things well, or he's taking good time. So when you see the bedside manner, when and many of you all are doctors here, so you all know how all of these things are important for the patients or clients to feel comfortable. Similarly, religious background, especially somebody who is religious, and I'm not just talking about uh, a Muslim therapist meeting a Muslim client. I'm also talking about a Christian client meeting a Muslim therapist, or a client from any religious background meeting a Muslim therapist. Because when they see that the person believes in the entire idea of religion, they get the confidence that their values and your values align. So you will see there's a lot of empirical research with clinical application that is now coming about. And they're not just like that, but they are peer-reviewed journals where you see evidence-based practices coming about for proving how spirituality is something that is uh, doing, like it's going to be adding a lot of benefit to the clients. Yeah.
So, Sister Zulekha, basically you are saying that irrespective of the faith people practice or believe in, religion does play a role in their spirituality and helping the mental health. This is what you mean.
Absolutely correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Now, APA Division 36 and the legitimacy of the field. तो APA का division है American Psychological Association. This is the body in the world जहाँ से directions लिया जाता है mental health के लिए. तो जितने भी तमाम disorders आप देखते हैं, depression देखते हैं, anxiety देखते हैं, OCD देखते हैं, and I know कि हम सब जानते हैं कि ये terms अभी काफी यूज किया जाता है कि अच्छा उसे डिप्रेशन हो गया है या उसे एंजाइटी है या उसको जनरलाइज एंजाइटी है या उसे ओसीडी है, तो हम सब जानते हैं. सो ये आ कहाँ से रहा है, यहाँ इसकी जो मेन बॉडी है वो कहाँ पर है. सो इट इज अमेरिकन साइकोलॉजिकल एसोसिएशन, जो जिसका डीएसएम, जिसकी जो मेन किताब होती है डायग्नोस्टिक स्टैटिस्टिकल मैनुअल, अभी 5th एडिशन उसका चल रहा है, 5th टेक्स्ट रिविजन. तो वहां पर देयर इज एन एंटायर सब टास्क फोर्स जो रिलीजन एंड स्पिरिचुअलिटी पे बनाई गई है. ठीक है. So that knows how legitimate. So you will see there are more conferences on religiosity and spirituality happening in Oxford, Yale, Cambridge. Personally, because I was at Cambridge studying Islamic psychology. I mean, one of the theological branches of every college has their own theological, branches or subtasks. So Cambridge University also has Cambridge Muslim College, where I had a chance to go and study. So you will see how there are more and more these kind of conferences and discourses happening in Western countries, which are countries we see as very agnostic and atheist, as compared to our own traditions. If you see, India has been very traditionally inclined towards believing, practices, rituals. But you see, that tradition is actually now leaving India, and you will see that Western countries are more reclined towards it. Just say Buddhist meditation practices and mindfulness. I'm sure we all have come across the word mindfulness, right? So, kaise all these things have become so ingrained. And I remember when I was in Croydon in West London, as soon as I would step out, there would be a huge center. And that was actually even a landmark where there was a lot of meditation, yoga, or say a lot of alternative therapies, practice, as compared to how we see here, where there's a rush to become more empirical. And in the name of becoming empirical and evidence-based, we are okay to put the entire practices and everything under the bus. So the legitimacy of the field comes from the APA division of 36. And by endorsing these principles, we understand and address spiritual concerns is not just valid, but necessary in creating culturally competent and effective therapeutic relationship, right? So now we're coming to understand what emotional resilience and spiritual well-being is. So we see that in today's professional environment, especially, fostering emotional resilience and spiritual well being is supremely essential. Emotional resilience helps individuals adapt and thrive amidst challenges. And while spiritual well being also provides a sense of purpose and peace. So these are all what it does. But what is emotional resilience? What do we understand by the word emotional resilience? Does anybody want to say a word to understand or know, or any guess of what emotional resilience could be?
Participants are free to unmute and speak up. No, not an issue. Or if you prefer to text it, you can put in
Type
the
in
chat
chat
box.
box. Yes, that will also be great.
Okay, let's move. I think emotional stability, someone has answered.
Emotional stability. Okay, that's good. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, so emotional resilience is actually our ability to respond to stressful or unexpected situations and crises. And I know all of us in professional setups face something like this. I'll give an example of how it happens at the hospital I work. Okay, I'll give you a personal example. So say we have Saturdays, which are very busy days, and we have like back to back sessions. And therapy usually lasts between 45 to 50 minutes. But then some clients, definitely because they're in the flow, they want to, sort of get to finish what they're talking. So say if that client goes a little over time, then the other client starts waiting, and then that creates an entire backend. So you start getting calls from the backend saying, oh, it's getting late, or the time needs to be managed, and so on. And sometimes it so happens that, say, a client had to come at 1, but they come at 2. But 2 o'clock, there was another appointment. So there are 2 clients now waiting. One has to again wait for another hour. And then, so that creates, so that's definitely a situation where you don't know what to do, or you are stressed, right? It's a stressful or unexpected situation, because ideally in an ideal world, everything is supposed to go smooth, where the client who's supposed to come at 1 is supposed to come at 1, and the client is supposed to come at 2 comes at 2. So the client who's supposed to come at 2 comes at 1:30, and this client also comes late. So one comes early, one comes late. So with all those things, what happens is it creates definitely a situation which is a little stressful. So now what is needed in this situation, or what will really help me come out of this, is to have good emotional resilience, right? And that will help me. Which, so what is emotional, what is resilience? People who have resilience have high self-esteem, they have a non-judgmental mind, they're very mindful, they're emotionally regulated. There are separate skills that are taught in therapy for emotional regulation. So we have 7 universal emotions, and certain times you're reacting a lot, or sometimes you're not reacting at all. So there is definitely a fluctuation on regulating problems. So we try to go from the basics of what the emotions are. What is your default emotion? Are you always inclining towards fear or anger or guilt? We all have some default emotions. Basically, we all have emotions जो हम ज़्यादा experience करते हैं compared to other emotions, right? So we help with emotion regulation, positive coping strategy. So what do I do in that situation? Then I go and talk to the client. I say, okay, which client is in more rush and harsh, or which client is able to understand the situation of another client. So you try to see how you can manage the situation better, right? Strong relationships, flexibility. There's something called psychological flexibility. So all of this counts under emotional resilience.
Sister
It is
Zulekha, sorry,
yeah.
I'm frequently interrupting you. I'm sure I'm testing your emotional resilience with me. Since we are addressing the professionals and maybe some of their families also,
Yeah.
these issues, are they specific only to the working professionals, or even their family also will go through certain sort of mental issues while dealing with their busy spouses? So they need to address this. So like, is it beneficial to all or only the working professionals?
Actually, emotional resilience is to anybody who faces stress. So it's a very good question, and I'm so glad you brought this up. And that opens a very good conversation where who experiences emotional resilience. So basically, if you ask me who experiences rain, I would say anybody who goes out, or who can experience sunlight. I would say anybody who steps out of their house, right? So emotional resilience is also anybody who goes through stress. Now, people who are homemakers, or people who are students, or people who are professionals, or people who are family members, every single person goes through stress. Every single person goes through something that makes them stress, because we have stressors, we have triggers, we go through stress. So emotional resiliency or emotional resilience skills is important for every person who is basically, can go through bouts of stress. Yeah.
So you
So
mean to say a professional with his employer or vice versa, or
vice
maybe
versa.
parent-child relationship, or maybe spouse relationship, or anyone,
Yes,
yeah, thank you.
everyone. Yeah. So resilience in general is made up of 5 pillars: self-awareness, being mindful, self-care, knowing what helps you in those situations, positive relationships, and purpose. Okay? Self-awareness, mindfulness or being mindful, self-care, positive relationships, and purpose. So that's understanding what emotional resilience by definition means. What do you think spiritual well-being means? Anybody who wants to type in the chat box or say what is spiritual well-being?
Yeah, shall I answer for that?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, actually, it all depends upon the person to person. One person is having a spiritual if he's believing in their religion, and whenever
Okay.
like me as a Muslim, if I go and read Quran, it is my spiritual things, and I feel pleasure in that, and I feel relaxed. If I'm in stress, then I go for it. I go for prayer. If I make a wudu, all these things are coming to me as a stress releaser. So I feel that is spiritual for me.
Hmm. That's good. True. And you're right. It depends from person to person. So we have something called spiritual anchors, which we do it in spiritual psychotherapy, where we discover each person's anchor. We understand each person's anchor, as in what anchors them. For some, it's going to be tadabbur of the Quran, sitting with the Quran and contemplating on it. For some people, it's going to be sitting in the company of friends who are really, religiously or spiritually doing well. For some, it's going to be sitting with teachers who are teaching Quran or Hadith or any form of spiritual guidance. For some, it's going to be Umrah or Hajj. For some, it's going to be, so it's different for different people, right? So we understand how spiritual well-being is basically expanding a sense of purpose. You have a purpose and you have meaning in life, and it helps you to be more morally and ethically on the path, and it involves a lot of knowing what makes you better. Okay, so it is your beliefs, principles, and values that gives meaning and sense of purpose to your life. It gives you a sense of purpose. So we also have people who come to therapy who are, say, in existential crisis or meaning crisis. They don't know what they're doing, why they're doing, and for what. So how we see logotherapy or maqasid methodology in Islam, we understand how every life is driven by a meaning, it's driven by a purpose, and it's about finding the purpose. So when we do value directions with them, they understand that, okay, maybe I'm just putting all everything for work. So say if there are 10 tangents to life, you have to take care of your family of origin, you have to take care of yourself, you have to also make sure there's a good balance of recreation, that you're having lighter moments in time in life. लेकिन अगर वैसे नहीं होता है तो what do we see? We see people focusing only on work. I usually tell this in a lot of sessions that I take, that a lot of CEOs and a lot of people from very high positions, when I have seen them break down with the sheet itself, when we give this to them, they say work is my 100%. There is no room for the other 9 areas of my life. And I know how many things I have destroyed. I've destroyed my health. I've destroyed my relationship with my family members, with my children. They don't have a connect with me. So in spiritual well-being, we help them explore what is their maqsad. And everything could be tied to their maqsad. Raising children in the right sense of moral and ethics is a maqsad. So your parenting is now spiritually aligned. working with right ethics, so you earn halal, the income is halal, so you nourish yourself and your family members with halal income. That's another way of seeing how you can spiritually, again, that's a space for being spiritually well, right? So that way you see, you're absolutely right. It's very customized for a lot of people, and it really helps to see how we're able to identify what is the most important anchor for which person, and further we encourage them to follow that. Okay.
Sister Rajni, uh,
Yes.
uh, like suppose if someone doesn't practice emotional resilience or it doesn't take care of spiritual well-being, so
Right.
what are the issues you usually see in your clients? Like, what are the consequences of not managing our own mental health?
Very good question, and I'm so glad this is interactive, and I'm so glad that this is conversational. It brings about real questions from practice and everything, right? So tell me what will happen. I'm going to ask you a counter question. What will happen, because mashallah you're a doctor, and many of your people are doctors and from various backgrounds, nutrition. I know some people that I can see here, their names, they are from education background. So I think we all know what happens if we're not having a balanced diet. Tell me, if I'm on a high protein diet, what will happen? Or tell me, if I'm on a only fruits, what will happen? Tell me, if I'm only on vegetables, what will happen?
I think we'll give more chance to the attendees.
Yes, definitely. Anybody who wants to answer this question. If you're only on a high protein, only on proteins, or only on fat, or only on fruits, or only on vegetables. Okay, I think I see a new message.
It's a disorder in the stomach. Our
The digestion will get impacted, definitely. Excess of something more than required, absolutely. Yes. And there's going to be, yeah.
anything
Yeah, please go on. Malnutrition, okay, good. So there's definitely going to be an imbalance, right? There's going to be imbalance of what is needed. So then you will need supplements to cover what your food is not covering. There's no fiber, there is no vitamins, because certain kind of foods will only give you certain kind of components that is needed to build your body. Very similarly, if you're not balancing your mental health, if you're not balancing it with different tangents, but being emotionally resilient and being able to like build skills over time, or if you're not spiritually aligning yourself to the anchors that help you, then your mental health is going to decline. It's going to be decline, it'll deteriorate, and perhaps it may result in some sort of a dysfunction, or maybe you're going to be always angry, always irritated, not able to function, a lot of procrastination. You're just not going to feel healthy and okay. So that's what happens if you're not giving importance to understanding or implementing things related to this. This is what usually happens. So now we'll move ahead. I hope that answered the question. Yeah. So emotional resilience is a cornerstone of professional or even personal growth. Emotional resilience enables professionals to maintain balance and focus under pressure. And in Islam, we understand that trials are opportunities for growth. Like if you see the life of all the prophets and Anbiya, you will see that a lot of times trials and adversities have brought a greater growth for them. Prophet ﷺ was blessed with Salah, Isra al Mi'raj, and all these after the year of sorrow, where he lost his dear uncle, Khadija radiallahu anha, right? We see Yunus alayhi salam after the entire thing, or Nuh alayhi salam, or any like Yusuf alayhi salam, 7 years of prison, and after that, how Allah elevates him and makes him like the king. And if you see all of the lives of the prophets, we understand how there has been a good adversity. Like an adversity comes, they bear it, and they they do well, and they come out by actually doing better. So, and also we know how Surah Al-Baqarah talks about Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. So Allah is also teaching resilience here. Allah is telling that you have the capacity, and Allah is in Allah like Allah is not breaking his promises, or Allah is somebody who really knows each one's capacity. So when Allah says that he's not going to be burdening a soul beyond it can bear, which means that you, I, and we all have the capacity to endure what Allah is, putting us through in the form of adversity or stress. So how exactly can we build emotional resiliency, or what really helps to build such? So intentional reflection like tafakkur, or psycho-spiritual study of du'as in Quran like tadabbur, or gratitude, having gratitude towards what you have like shukr, or reliance on the divine like tawakkal. All of this along with self-care strategies enhances resilience. Okay. And additionally, we also understand self-care practices such as maintaining physical health, ensuring sufficient sleep, engaging in reflective activities like journaling can significantly enhance our ability to remain steady and composed. Now, I know journaling has become an industry, like there's so many journals out there and so on. But journaling, if you look at it from a very microscopic, closer perspective, what is it helping you do? It's helping you spend some time in muhasaba. You're taking hisab of yourself, just like how any person who is working or not working, we have accounts, like we have some amount and we have to spend it, or it goes into wherever, it goes into the pantry, it goes into procuring, or even at household setups it goes into different places. We do write a hisab, we know where the money has come from and where it's gone. Similarly, you're taking hisab of your deeds, you're taking hisab of what you're doing, you're taking hisab of what went right and what went wrong. A lot of people have salah trackers, Quran trackers. What are all these things doing? It's building consistency and a practice that will help you be more emotionally resilient. It will help you be more strong at the face of any adversity that hits. So say somebody who understands, goes to gym and listens to the gym trainer every day, and after a year if he says, well, I came every day to the gym, I heard you talk, I heard you explain, but I don't see any changes in my body. What is he doing wrong? He's understanding it, but he's not putting it to practice. So it's about putting things into practice. It's about being able to put whatever you learn. Or say when you do muhasaba, one day you understand that, okay, I have missed salah because somebody called when I picked the call. Second day again, you write the reason as to why you're missing salah. Second is like, okay, I pushed it for a later time. Awal waqt mein I did have the time, but I said I'll do it later, and then something came up. Once you keep a jaisa, once you keep a track of it, you realize where your time is going or how you're missing it. And that helps you to build a discipline. When you see it on paper, when you see it on your journal, when you see it on your laptop, and you do a good thematic analysis, you understand, okay, this is how I'm missing it. So I need to do better. I need to not pick calls when it's salah time until I'm done with it, or I need to not get back to messages because I don't know, I may just, brain rot, I may just go on to content, and then I may not realize that the time is gone, right? So this is how we are going to be understanding how this builds. So basically, emotional resilience is what allows people to bounce back from setbacks and maintain focus during adversity and thrive in the most demanding environments. It is not the absence of stress, but the ability to navigate it constructively. So it's not like all the people who manage stress better don't have stressors. It looks like, oh, this person is stress free, everything looks so good, and there's nothing. But actually, it is not about that. It's about how they're managing the stress well, how they have learned to train their muscles to lift some of the most heaviest weights without making it seem like they're lifting heavy weights. Now, we're coming towards strategies for enhancing spiritual and psychological resilience. And I have very intentionally kept only five, so that there has to be something that we take back from these lectures, because a lot being said and not being done is not okay, as compared to we learn certain things and we're able to at least implement one or two of them. And as we know, Islam really loves consistency. We know that Allah likes small deeds done consistently versus, like, if you see our entire life, our organic life also teaches us that the day you have food, excess food, you will see you're not doing okay. You will feel either pukish or something is, you don't feel fine. Or if you see a gallon of water, you don't drink all the water at once just because you don't want to drink water for the next few months. So everything needs to go consistently, right? Like in balance. So similarly, we need to know what we can take and what we can do in order to build these skills. Starting up first with spiritual well-being in the workplace starts in the golden hour. Be it workplace or be it your house setup or be it any place, I think, and all of these, like I always give disclaimers because this is how my teachers would also recommend. All these are going to be reminders first done to myself and then to you and then to all of us collectively, because we are all struggling in one or the same goals, right? We're all struggling to maintain the circadian rhythm, to sleep on time and wake up on time. We're all struggling to eat right. We're all struggling to, maintain contacts with people who really mean to us. Either we are too busy with work or we're too busy with our own selves. I mean, procrastinating things we need to be doing. So I'm going to be referring it to as we versus you, because I know we all need these reminders and we all need to be working towards this. So spiritual well-being connects actions to a higher purpose, transforming tasks into acts of worship. So key practice includes seeking barakah. So we know there's a concept of barakah in Islam where the same small things done in smaller quantities can actually be done. I mean, it can show vast and great results. So we know the concept. I mean, how do we understand barakah? When Prophet ﷺ was like, there was little milk. And then the barakah concept is you have little, but it fulfills lot. I'm sure we all have experienced that once or twice in a lifetime in terms, or maybe more. I hope maybe more, inshallah, where in terms of time or in terms of finances. Like maybe you used to earn less, but you were more content and a lot of your needs were met. But as you started earning more and the chase for money started getting more, you realize, okay, this is like, it's still not able to fulfill the needs. Or say in terms of time, when you would do certain things that really made your day so productive that you felt that there's a lot that you're able to accomplish in one day versus when there is no barakah in our day, right? So understanding how barakah in itself as a concept, and especially when Prophet ﷺ has said, the early hours are blessed for my nation. Now, there was this, I'm sure we all would have come across the golden hour. Or what are some of the common things that you see in multimillionaires? One of the things that was found, and there's a study in the umpteenth and multiple books that you will see that talks about the importance of golden hour. I forgot a few years back, there was this person from not our faith who was starting the 5 a.m. club where it was encouraged for everybody to wake up early and give that calm time for yourself or for meditation or for your work or for your studying. But it was all about creating people who can wake up at 5 a.m. So it was called the 5 a.m. club. So we know empirically or empirically or scientifically, these are things that are now getting proven that early hours are blessed. So your spiritual well-being can start with the golden hour. So we all need to make genuine efforts to make sure that. And how will we wake up early? When we sleep early. And how will we sleep early? When we wind our day early. So if you see after, so every hour in the day you're doing something or the else, but night becomes a time which gets dragged. There are only two important tasks, if you see, that needs to be done in the night. One is going to be your supper, one is going to be your dinner, and then your isha. After that, it's usually a drag. And that's a huge chunk of hours that actually gets dragged for nothing as compared to your hours in the day. So, with this reflection, if you're able to try to wind your day early and build a habit tracker where you're trying to sleep at least half an hour or 1 hour early for a month, then again, sort of pre. So, you have to reset your entire circadian rhythm, which is now disrupted. If you're a late sleeper and if you're finding it difficult to raise up early, so Fajr being is one of the most important. Even 10 minutes before Fajr gives you the tahajjud time. All of these things are going to be helping. So I know as much as it's being said, looking at it from a spiritual well-being perspective or things that makes people successful, one of the key components that has made people successful, even more successful. We are going to be seeing this in a different light, and we're trying best, inshallah, to be implementing this.
Sister
Second is
Zulekha,
good.
yes.
Yes.
As we are running short of time, if you allow me to summarize the last few points, because we have attendees from, who believe in different faiths and religions. So
Right.
basically, you are saying that, we should look up to the holy scriptures or the religious scriptures or divine guidances, and look for the moral stories and try to connect and benefit from those stories. This is one. Second thing is a sense of gratitude, and early to bed and early to rise. Okay, and whatever the religion they believe in, the prayer does connect you and the creator, and try to be mindful of what you're doing. This is what you wanted to convey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Can you
also how this entire
yeah, please
concept of
go.
early, right, waking up early is also a time for self-reflection. It's a time for you to set your goals. You're not in the rush. That time belongs to you, because a lot of our works or a lot of the duties and everything starts maybe around 7 or 6:30 or something. So you will have that good 1.5 hours for reflection, for your goals, for your self-care, for yourself, basically. Second, being intentional living. We call it the power of niyyah in Islamic belief, where we say you're living with a very strong intention. Everything that you do transforms if you actually have the right intention. So we have a tradition, a sunnah or a hadith that is narrated from in our religion, which says innamal a'malu binniyat. Everything is dependent on the niyyah itself. So intention usually transforms actions into meaningful contributions. Setting clear intentions ensures alignment with personal and professional goals. So maintaining an intention journal fosters mindfulness and strengthens both emotional and spiritual resilience. So when you keep reminding yourself, like, I know a teacher in Morocco who's been my teacher's teacher, who just teaches how to breathe correctly. And why am I saying this now? It's because when after the course, a lot of people breathe in the right way, diaphragmatic breathing, and with a lot of breathing exercises, they, sort of, I mean, that's one aspect that really helps you towards your stressors and helps you calm. They say they can't breathe incorrectly after that. Like, it's a correction that's made. So if we incorporate intentional thinking or intentional living, everything revolves around a purpose, or everything, you're very clear on why you're doing and what you're doing. So this is also one of the low key tip for people pleasers. A lot of times you're doing things when you don't want to do it. You're pleasing people you don't want to please. You're allowing or letting people come into the boundaries where you don't want to do. So this will help you to, if you question, okay, why am I doing this? How is it going to be helping me or the other person? It's not just about helping you, but even how is it helping the other person, right? Am I making that person crippled by depending on me too much? Am I just satisfying the other person's ego, or am I just feeling good about being helping somebody at the cost of myself? For example, some people who may have next day assignments or major deadlines, and if they're actually catering to somebody who's not in a very emergency kind of a need, that's putting your deeds or your needs aside. So intentional living, or the power of intention, will help you to sort of classify what needs to be done from what should not be done, or where you should be investing. For example, if two three things come together, like few friends are meeting up, and you can always catch up with them, as compared to your family having a gathering where you really need it for help and support. So in order to people please, if you go towards friends who you can always catch up with, you're going to be, it's not intentional living. So that's one other thing that we should be looking into. Third is building a positive mindset. Not, I mean, we all have read articles and we all have seen things as to how building up, so we call it zan, or good assumptions of people. It starts with a healthy assumption, husne zan, towards God and himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have, like, we know, we believe that okay, he is wanting good for us. It starts first from that, and then it flows into creation. We look into how people have, so basically, if somebody did not greet me a hi, I said a hi in the office, and perhaps the person did not greet me hi, or even at family weddings when you're just meeting people or friends, you give them the benefit of doubt. Maybe he was looking for something he lost. Maybe she did not hear me, or maybe like you give good assumptions of people so that you don't build animosity and vengeance to your heart, which actually hurts you. So a positive mindset is vital for overcoming challenges. The prophets and all the prophets, if you see, demonstrated optimism even during challenging times. Like we have the story of Yunus alayhi salam, and he was a prophet. I think Jonah, if I'm not wrong, in Christianity, and how he was in the belly of the whale in the ocean. So if you see how everybody describes, it's like darkness upon darkness upon darkness, right? Dark night, darkness of the sea, darkness of the whale's belly, and there as well, it's like a plea. I mean, all this you would just lose hope, but he was so certain that God is hearing him, and he's like, okay, I have done a lot of like I've read Rabbi Nilimaz like not no Allah, which is a dua, Allah um which dua was something that Yunus alayhi salam read. Not Alamani, Rabbi Nirwan Zalalam Khair Fakir was Musa alayhi salam.
La
So
ilaha illa anta subhanaka.
La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Like I have definitely done zulm on myself, and zulm in Arabic is also considered as darkness. So I'm the zalim. So he is acknowledging that there is atrocity that he's done against his own self, and there is a place of hoping that with this acknowledgement there is relieving, right? So we see how building a positive mindset, the fact that he made that dua or he made that plea or prayer, even amidst that situation, is where it shows that he's not lost hope. So having positive mindset shows us that there is a lot. That's something that really separates people from fighters to winners to people who just give up, right? So this is one other thing that we need to be building. And then the fourth is definitely going to be a good work life balance. Balancing professional and personal responsibilities sustains emotional and spiritual well being. Planning tools like Daily Taskinator. So, this is something that you can find on the Productive Muslim website. You can just zoom in and see how it talks about like your daily tasks need to have a place for your religion, a place for your family, work, and personal, right? Just like how we had this entire value directions, it talks about some of the most important things that needs to be done daily so that you can reflect. There is a sense of recreation, rejuvenation of the mind and soul. Will we stop for Maghrib Salah? Here it's done. So we just have 3, 4 more slides, and I think we should be able to wind in 5 to 7 minutes, and then you can always come back and join the Q&A because there's just one more point to go. Or if you want to pray and come back, then we can just brief you as to what we did.
Let's try to wind it up.
Wind it up. Okay. So achieving a balance between, we see how Prophet Islam or the last prophet in Islam, right? He spoke about how the body has a right over you. Your eyes have a right over you, your spouse has a right over you. So we need to be aligning with the body that has a right over us. We need to be giving it right rest, right place of fostering or rejuvenating. So that's another thing. And we usually talk about etidal, balance, and the 6 areas to be balanced, which is your social life, your professional, your your spiritual life, then your community life, so your health, your physical well-being. So it talks about how the concept of etidal or balance is something, and value directions will help you with that. It'll help you to balance. So a lot of people put health, recreation, self-care into one. That's how it becomes 6. But otherwise, these are all the different 10 areas that you need to be able to look into separately. And the 5th is service and leadership, because it's very essential for us to be leading. And in some capacity, we're all leaders, we're all shepherds, right? The hadith or the tradition talks about we're all shepherds unto the flock that we have. So in the professional sphere, we see true productivity extends beyond individuals' accomplishments to include contributions of well-being. And we see how the mindset of service, or to be service minded, really helps. Of the leadership, the component of leading and service helps you. And also, I think one thing that can really emotionally help you to help others is there's a hadith or tradition that says, as long as you're in the cause of helping someone, Allah is in the cause of helping you. So trying to help people or trying to be service minded or leading can really, it's the essence of productivity. It's the essence of excelling in yourself so much that you're able to help somebody else. For example, the airport, right? I mean, the airlines, we make like, first help yourself, mask yourself, and then help the other person. So if you're able to quickly mask yourself, you can help so many people around you to mask up. So that is the epitome of excellence, where you have really done something or mastered something in a way that you're able to lead. So this is an assessment tool for people who are in the industry of any background of professionals who like want to help their colleagues or their employees. And this is a spiritual assessment tool where F stands for faith or belief, I is importance or influence, community and address. So what is your faith or belief? Is it important in your life? um, are your are you a part of spiritual or religious community? And A stands for how would you like me, your healthcare provider or your employer or your boss or your colleague to address these issues in your healthcare in any capacity. So this is the tool that has helped to create the entire environment around making people spiritually aligned so that they can cope better and they can help themselves and their surroundings better. So this is a follow-up of that. And last but not the least, we just have one thing that I want you all to go back and read. Take it more like an action plan or a homework, which is polyvagal theory and how the entire concept of being dysregulated. So this theory is something that I just wanted to add a just few lines about. Okay, where we understand how the autonomic nervous system is responding to stress and influences from emotional regulation. So in this environment, like basically there's a threat. So constantly feeling that there is a lion in the room, constantly feeling you're under stress will make your body, it's just get adjusted to being constantly in the state of fight or flight. So in order to, and that's when you need more trauma informed and mindful and that safe space kind of places. So it's important that you go back, and there's umpteen lectures on YouTube and books on it, and you can understand your own in which mode are you on fight, flight, freeze, fawn, which mode are you in, and how do you really help to regulate yourself so that you feel less stressed. So this is one takeaway that I wanted. And of course, right, indeed Allah will not change the condition of people until they change what is in themselves. So we really need to strive towards changing and fostering emotional resilience and spiritual well-being, so that there is a place of personal fulfillment, not just in our professional but personal and social and psychological, emotional, community, in all forms of living that we are living. So with that, the ones who want to go for Maghrib can, and the ones who want to stay back and linger back for some Q&A can also, just if we have the time, that is.
Thank you very much, Sister Zulekha. It was very enlightening and very interesting topic indeed. Actually, the reason we wanted to have this session is, the professionals, whether it's male or female, they go through a lot of, mental health issues in various spheres. Like, for example, if an employee has a bad employer, or a employer has a bad employee, or an employee has a bad colleague, for example. So there are different situations where people can encounter such issues where mental health can be affected, or the nature of the work itself can put a person into a very difficult situation. Or maybe the person is doing very well professionally. I mean, he's busy, he or she making good for themselves, but the family is affected, or the kids get neglected, or let's say there are parenting issues. So like, for example, both husband and wife are working, or maybe one of them is working, and kids are not cooperative with their situation, or kids are into a bad company, for example, and they are facing parenting issues, the parents. Or there are intermarital relationship issues like husband and wife. So there are different conditions where a professional might encounter mental health problems, and that's why we wanted, mental health experts like you to address their issues, how they can help themselves by, increasing their emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, so that while doing professional level, they can take care of their mental health as well. Alhamdulillah, you have brought out many practical points and some exercises to do, so that they can take care of their mental health. Of course, in one session or 1 hour, we cannot completely cover the whole topic, but you have done your best to cover the topic. If there are any questions or any burning doubts in mind, people can ask the question. And meantime, I would like to thank Sister Zulekha for being on our webinar, and I would like to share the certificate which the International Indian Professional Association wanted to, I hope this is visible.
Yes, there's a block, but yeah, now it is. Yeah.
Actually, this certificate is prepared by our sister, wife of one of our colleague, Mr. Mir Mujahid. Although this piece of certificate will not convey the feelings which we have towards your contribution for the webinar today, but this is a small token of gesture. Inshallah, I'll be sharing with you on your email or WhatsApp.
Thank you.
Jazakallah khair for your time and effort. If there are any questions in a quick 2 minutes, we
I have one question, Dr. Saab.
Yeah, please.
We normally hear a lot about emotional intelligence. I just wonder, what is the difference between emotional intelligence and emotional resilience in a very common layman language, because we have diversified audience in the group, in the call. In a very common layman language, can you just explain?
That's a very good question. Emotional intelligence. And I think there has been quite an entire time when a lot of people were talking about emotional intelligence. It's something that everybody needs to have and everybody needs to foster that towards. So emotional intelligence would be more like the ability to manage, say, our emotions, or to be able to recognize uh, how exactly to respond to the emotions of others. Okay, so it's more about how you manage your emotions or whatever is coming across your way, or how to respond to the emotions of others, while resiliency is about the ability to bounce back from a stress or bounce back after you've been in crisis. So, on a day to day basis, you may need emotional intelligence to manage your own emotions and the emotions of people around you. For example, somebody screams and yells. So, you manage your emotions and you wait for them to get calm, and then you wait for them to talk to them. So, that is you being emotionally intelligent. So, if they are yelling, you're not yelling at the same time. But resiliency or emotional resilience is to have the right attunement or the right capacity to bounce back once you've hit an adversity, once you've hit a crisis. For example, you failed an exam, somebody failed an exam, or somebody did tanked their presentation, they didn't do it well, and maybe they've got some escalations in the team. So how do you bounce back from that entire stress? How do you bounce back from that adversity? That's going to be emotional resilience. So so basically it's going to be in terms of your health, your personal life, or your work, or in any capacity. How do you bounce back is what emotional resilience can be. I hope the answer or the examples helped to understand.
Sadiq bhai, I think you're looking for, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, emotional regulation. Basically, trying to understand the emotions of the person in front of you, and understanding the emotions of ourselves, and then trying to regulate based on the situation. So how well you can do, that is your emotional intelligence. So like suppose somebody is shouting at you for no reason. So we need to understand that why he's shouting, or let's say what is the reason behind it. I mean, what bad encounter he had so that he is just throwing, his emotions on you, for example. I mean, you have nothing to do with whatever situation he is in, but trying to understand his emotion would help in trying to calm down the situation. Like for example, if a husband, or I mean, your spouse comes from the office in a very angry mood and starts shouting at the kids or wife, for example. He's not doing it intentionally, in a sense that, he's angry with you, but basically he's just bringing out his frustration from the office or whatever outside world at home. So if we understand his situation and try to calm in a best possible manner, I think we will not let the situation to escalate further. Otherwise, what happens is, like, the spouse also starts shouting, and the things can go wrong in a very bad manner and end up somewhere else. As I said, the time is not enough to discuss everything, but these are the issues where a professional goes through turmoils. So, am I answering your question, Sadiq bhai?
Yeah. Yes. It was clear actually.
Yeah.
So we can say, I think, emotional resilience is a subset of overall emotional intelligence. Am I correct?
Yes, you're right. So
Okay.
seeing
Okay.
emotional resilience as
Yeah.
something that once you keep flexing the muscles of your emotional intelligence, you will see that you will be developing emotional resilience.
Yes.
But it definitely starts with emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, and then goes into emotional resilience. Good. That's the right understanding. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Basically, resilience is bouncing back. Like for example, in a situation requires you to be little taking a back step, and let the storm pass, and then come back to your situation. So being calm in that particular situation, that itself is an action. So the resilience is basically a bouncing back. Yeah. Any other question, please, quickly?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. My question is simple because I attended the session lately. Just, ma'am, how to come out of the depression, ma'am? These days, every second person is going through depression, and when we approach the psychiatrist and these people, they advise sleeping medicines and this. But due to these medicines, waking up in the morning is also a big task. So, how to deal with these things, ma'am? Because depression is there, and they are advising medicines, and those medicines are again they are keeping us calm, and few medicines are in the night, they have sleeping medicines and this. So how we can deal with all these things? And
That's a very valid question, and that's something that we see almost every day in our practice, right? So what we need to understand is, I think the first step would be the cause. A good root cause analysis will help. Where is the depression coming from? For a lot of people, when they're not living their actualized life, they get depressed. For a lot of people, it could be organic causes. They could actually be vitamin D deficiency, or they could actually be some hormones that are not norepinephrine. Then you have serotonins and your endorphins levels being low. For some, it could be there is a precipitating factor, like there is something that really went wrong into their lives. They really liked somebody, they couldn't get married to that person, they were aiming at a job, they could not get the job, they got fired. So if there is a strong precipitating factor, then we make new meaning from that entire, right? So first thing that we need to be doing is root cause analysis. And medicines, yes, in major depressive disorder where the functionality is stopped, where you're not able to drag yourself out of the bed, even smaller tasks are seeming very too much for you to do, then in those situations medicines do help. But we also do know that medicines do come with their own side effects. So we need to see what is going to be the beneficial pathway for the person. If therapy is a good option, where you could be trying good psychotherapy, which will help you root cause analysis, it could help you with identifying your protective factors. What has not pushed you further into your, like, what has not pushed you further into adversity? What has not made things worse for you? What are your predisposing factors? Did any of your parents or anybody in the gene pool have it? What are your perpetuating factors? For example, if I don't have a job, I still don't have a job. So that's my perpetuating factor that is making my depression worse, right? or somebody who's stressed because of their children are just getting worse and worse in grades. So you will do a complete profile and a backup, and you will see what are the anchors that holds them. Alternatively, like we were talking about spiritual anchors, what is it that holds them spiritually? What is it that really guards them, holds them? What are some of the things that they could be doing further that can help their mental health? For example, working out or walking or eating the right food or sleeping on time. All these things, as little as it's said, they have good and adverse good effects on the health. So a good factual empirical root cause analysis from your childhood till your present, and seeing where, if there is a need for medication, or if, because again somebody has actually asked a follow-up question saying, can you put some light on medication in Islamic perspective? So from Islam we see that every marz has shifa, and every disease has a pathway to shifa. And Prophet ﷺ has also, like the Prophet has also spoken about a lot of times about shifa in terms of any. And why would we be taught a dua for anxiety and depression if there was nothing as such? Surah Duha also captures Prophet's entire state of feeling so low. So Allah is reminding him of all the favors that Allah has done for him. So gratitude and all these things that we talk about. So Islam definitely understands prevention. Islam, because there's a hadith which talks about, if there is waba, if there is a plague happening in one place, then take preventive measures. If you're in that place, then don't leave it because it will further spread. If you're away from that, then don't enter that town, which means it's talking about prevention. So all these things cumulatively will help you and show you how you are going to be trying prevention. If not, if the MERS, if the disease has come about, then you take it as a disease. You don't see it as, oh, my iman is low, maybe God is angry with me. We don't go into those thought process. We see it as a MERS. We see it as a disease, because Prophet is saying, like he's clubbing anxiety, depression, leprosy in a dua. Like prevent, Ya Allah help us with not feeling hum and gham and anxiety, which means we are taking it as a merz, and we're not going to be taking it as, oh, the iman is low, that's why you're depressed. Muslims cannot be depressed. That's a very wrong way to think, and we need to be taking it more like, we need to be understanding that this is a disease, this is an illness that needs help. So with, in your case, like medication part I just covered, in your case or in anybody's case, whoever the example is that you're saying, if you take medications and it makes you sleepy, a good root cause analysis, if you are on medication, along with medication therapy will help. So you build the same, must like your mental, new neural pathways are created to help you deal with them without medication, and slowly, gradually, building efficiency into you, self-efficacy, we bring down the dosage of medicines until you're in remission with meds.
I think the question was mainly on the medicine by Minhaj Bhai. I just want to mention something on that.
Yeah.
Those who get addicted to whether it is drugs, alcohol, smoking, or anything, basically they're trying to escape from the situation momentarily. They think that they're getting rid of the problem, but basically it is like ostrich bringing his head into the sand. So the problem is not going anywhere. Only we are detaching ourselves for time being. So if you take a sleeping medicine, maybe you will sleep for a day, and then next day again you are in the same problem. So as Zulekha was saying, that if you don't do a root cause analysis and trying to address the root cause by itself, I think we are not going to get a freedom from that particular problem.
Sir, sometimes the root cause is not in our hand, it's in Allah's hand. For example, if a couple is not getting children, then how they can keep quiet, and what they can do, sir? This cause is not in their hand, it's in Allah's hand. So
okay, so as comes like there are something which you can do, there is something which you can't do anything. Okay, so the thing which you can't do, I mean, let's say after trying all the possible factors, taking into consideration the medically, the psychological, all things are taken care of, and there is no hope that the problem cannot be solved. This is where the meditation or the spiritual well-being part, which Sister Zulekha was mentioning, that comes into play. And of course, that needs one-to-one session, because we don't want anybody's personal details to be revealed on the webinar, because it's a public platform. We got your point. Inshallah, sometime we can get connected and try to address your issues. I mean, any other question in that regard, if there is any personal issues. One last question we can take before we close.
Sir, how to get connected with ma'am, or if we
Yeah.
need any further guidance or
The-
contact info or something?
By whatever group you have come here, I mean, from that group, you can connect to us. Okay. Thank you so much, Sister Zulekha. Actually, it is Maghrib time here. Already we are late. Sorry, we are cutting, in between. So we need to close because we can't let it go beyond this time. Jazakallah khair for joining. Thank you so much. And I thank all the attendees on behalf of International Indian Professional Association that you have taken some time from your weekend and, try to listen to the speaker very patiently. And some of them interacted very passionately as well. So, Jazakallah khair. We look forward to further such webinars, and please join our WhatsApp groups. I think the groups where you have come from, keep watching notifications there, so you'll get the updates, and I will be coming with more interesting topics for you. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you guys for the wonderful session.